welcome back to another Marvel. Well, it's not really a live play, it's a live react. We are sitting here. Neither of us have looked at the Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. article, but I am here with Villain Theory. How are you doing, Villain?
I'm doing really good. I'm very, very excited. Wasn't sure what we'd get today, and I'm pretty hyped for this.
Hello, chat. Hello, chat. We have not looked at this at all. We actually are in the middle of recording a Shadow of the Cast episode. So,
They
so
ruined it.
we're about halfway through, and all of a sudden we're just like, there's a new article. So we're like, okay, let's pause. Let's go look at this article, because what we realized is that neither of us were actually being able to pay attention to the podcast anymore. So I'm pumped.
Yeah, I think we had a couple of answers, talking about some like shield cards in the core set, and I kept talking about like the new stuff and that and back and forth, and yeah, let's do it.
Nice. We've got a lot of comments already saying that this is probably one of the more unique heroes that we have seen in a long time. So
Yeah.
I'm at this point, let's just dive in,
Let's do
because
it.
we are talking about Maria Hill. From what I understand, we are previewing Maria Hill, which is only one of it's half of the heroes. We're not even looking at Nick today. We are looking at Miss Maria. So,
Fine.
any
Yeah.
speculation? We had a little bit of thoughts, but there has to be card draw involved, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about because we're talking about the core set in Shadow of the Cast, and she draws cards as an ally. Hopefully, she draws cards here. But I think that this meant unique. I think it makes sense that she's really interesting because she's kind of a human without any special powers really, and we kind of have that with Black Widow and Hawkeye. But Maria feels a bit less action person than them, obviously. So definitely going to be something curious here. I think my big prediction on previous videos and things was different shield supports, different aspects, something cross aspect for shield and rewarded for playing shield cards. But I'm curious to see what they've actually done.
Okay, so Chad is telling us to start scrolling because they cannot handle it anymore.
Okay,
So
okay, let's do it.
let's dive in and talk about Maria Hill. Who Let's look at the alter ego side. I'll read out this one. Maria Hill in her alter ego has a 3 recovery. You may
Yeah,
include the maximum number of copies of 3 shield supports in your decks from aspects other than your chosen aspect. So right there we have our multi-aspect hero
yeah,
if
and it
we're only getting
supports.
one. And their support.
Yeah,
So med team, tac team, surveillance team, those are the ones that we know of so far, right? And I guess
yeah.
Triskelion too. Like, you could use Triskelion if you wanted to.
The phrasing here is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, it is. As an action, we can exhaust Maria, search your deck for a shield support, and add it to your hand. Okay, so card draw.
Ooh,
Card draw
that,
right there. That's pretty exciting.
it's kind of tutoring. You get to pick any shield support, and I wonder if she'll have some of her own. That's really cool.
That is cool. She has 6 hand size, 9 hit points, 3 recovery. So a little bit squishy.
Yep.
I guess we haven't really seen her hero side, but a little bit squishy. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I think that this is actually going to be pretty involved with the rest of the kit. So
Yeah.
let's hop over to her hero side and take a look. You want to read us out what that's going?
Yeah, so weirdly on this side, she's also called Maria Hill. 2 for 1 attack, 2 defense. So 2 for it's kind of nice to see. Interesting, kind of unusual stat line here. A little bit lower than average, but completely fine. Shield and Spire actually on both sides. Each ally you control gains a shield trait. She's Star Lord. She's Shield Lord.
She's
Yes.
Shield Lord.
Yes, I love it. One of my favorite things about Star Lord is, using these allies in new context or that kind of thing. And I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of context to giving allies shield that maybe we didn't have before, or maybe it's just for the existing stuff, but I'm excited to see. Reassignment, action, move 1 all-purpose counter from a shield support to another shield support. That is fun. That is really good, because they all use counters, med team, surveillance team, and there's hopefully maybe new ones. I'm not sure. Very cool.
Yeah. That's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited to load up Triskelion with a ton of counters. Um,
Well,
No, but I mean, amazing, right? Like, it's so cool, really interesting, and kind of what you would expect to see from a non-superhero kind of
yeah.
card design, where you are interacting with supports, because she is the director of Shield. That is how she shows power in the universe, is using her support system of Shield, and so
Yeah.
I'm pretty awesome.
I'm I'm super excited for this. I like that, she's directing shield, so she gets to move the counters from one to the other. It's like she's directly putting more resources in one kind of
Yeah.
department to another kind of thing. Like that's just thematic. Recruiting people into shield is Starlord. I love it. It's thematic in that way. I need to see more. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Okay, so she can include the maximum number of copies of up to 3 shield supports. I think that means that you have to include 3 if you are including any. Is that how you
Yeah.
read that? Okay.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so. Chat, let us know if that's different.
I you may include the maximum number of copies. The way that I read that is if you're including one, you have to include the maximum. So 1 Triskelion or 3 of any of the other teams. Her alter ego ability allows you to get one from your support and all of that good stuff. Impressive amount of flexibility. That's the truth. It allows her to get more uses out of her supports. Best fit her situation. For example, if she doesn't have any allies in play, she can move in a counter from command team. And so I assume that. Oh, okay. So command team will be in her precon. This is a card that we have seen before. This is the leadership shield card
Yep.
where you can ready an ally.
Same art.
Um, yeah, same,
Yep.
same art, which I guess it is shield art. So
Yep. It works. I'll allow
I
it.
was kind of hoping for something a little different. Command team to support staff. So this is going to be a new card for us. Let's see what we got. So staff is a 1 cost Maria Hill shield support. Comes in with 3 counters. We can exhaust support staff, remove 1 staff counter from it to generate a wild resource for a player who has identity has the shield trait.
Ooh.
So this is web shooter, but a little bit
Yeah.
more flexible, I think, right? Because you can
Yeah.
load up the counters. You can move counters from TAC team or surveillance team or whatever to support staff and use those as wild resources. And you can also do it for your Nick Fury partner. It does not have to be just you.
Yeah, and it's identity. So if Hawkeye goes Alter Ego or Black Widow or Captain America or Captain Marvel, you get that, you can send it to them. That's going to be flexible with quite a lot of existing heroes. I like this. I like this a lot. And it's a 1 cost that's kind of getting you 3 resources. Is this just a basic? Oh no, this is her card. The gray threw me off. Okay,
Yeah,
this makes so
yeah.
much more sense now. I was like, this is looking way too good. Okay, this is good though. I like her having this. This is flexible.
Yeah. My mind immediately goes to is the Monica Chang recursion of surveillance team for support staff. So if we are using Monica Chang, we can pay the 3 cost ally, we get the ally, then we get a surveillance team, and then we can put more counters on surveillance team and then use her hero ability to turn those into resources. So I'm thinking that once we have support staff on the table, no idea at this point how many copies we're going to have,
Hmm.
but I
Yeah.
think she can be pretty rich.
I think so. My only thing that I think will hold it back is if you're putting all these supports from different aspects in potential, you could have too many counters. You can only move 1 so often.
True.
But nonetheless, it's still going to be access to wild resource. Something we didn't pay much attention to, but is first. This is the first hero we've seen with shield on the hero side, which could also be very interesting.
Yeah. My mind immediately goes to sneak attack Nick Fury, right? So
Oh yeah.
so sneak attack in Lord of the Rings is not limited to sharing a trait with one of your heroes that you play, and sneak attack Gandalf is like the best play, right? Like that is
Yeah.
the play. And in Marvel Champions, they nerf sneak attack a little bit, making it that it needs to share a trait with the character who plays it.
Yeah.
So you have a really hard time sneak attacking Nick, but you can sneak attack Nick in and then get that 3 card draw or the money.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
And you have team building exercise as well as I guess you could always do it with government liaison, but that's still interesting. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Alrighty, yeah, let's move on. So we got the support staff to boost her resources. Most of her kit revolves around shield supports. Did you
Surprise.
surprise, right? Um, in fact, she has no attack, thwart, or defense events in her signature kit. Okay, that's kind of interesting.
Hmm. That's
That's
really unique.
hmm. Cards like reinforcements. So this is going to be one of our new cards. You want to read us this one?
Yeah, so this is not a basic card. It has not tricked me this time. This is a Maria Hill card. It's a one cost event, reinforcements action. Choose any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. That's interesting. Place one all purpose counter on each of those supports. So, one cost event that's going to restock any number of shield supports you have up to, a total cost of 6. So, that's going to be three two costs, two free costs, or a free cost and a two cost, presumably, or a one
Yeah.
cost with her support staff now. Very flexible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So keep tag
And the
team topped up for damage and stuff. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, like, just if you do throw this on, I'm gonna remind myself on support staff, right? You're paying half the cost for it, right? So one all-purpose counter on support staff is a resource. This card costs me 2 resources to play.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like the art here with the hat adjustment from I think that's Dum Dum Dugan probably. So
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. And he's got the flavor text. We got orders straight from the director. Move it. I love it.
Hey, Roland. St. Matthew says came here after reading the full article. People who are not excited for this box are stunned and/or confused.
I'm excited so far. This is so interesting.
This is really interesting. I like the reinforcements. The fact that she has no attack, thwart, or defense events in her kit is interesting. Shield Director is her next card. Shield Director is a 2-cost upgrade. Exhaust Shield Director. Place one all-purpose counter on a shield support. Wow. Okay. So flexibility is the name of the game here. We are just going all in on these shield supports, and we are going to be able to manipulate these counters to do whatever it feels like
Oh
we
yeah.
want.
Yeah, that's so interesting. One of the rare title cards in the game has that trait. The flavor text, I feel like this deserves it. You don't have to agree with my orders. You just have to carry them out. That's how I feel as Star-Lord in multiplayer too.
Yep, right. Oh my gosh. So that's interesting. I think like
Hmm.
worst maybe not worst case scenario, but I mean like if nothing else, you throw it on support staff and you just have a generator forever.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting. Again, I feel like the tempo having to put counters out if you've got lots of counters already on these things, it's not increasing that, but it's going to keep these things on the board. I can see you amassing like tons of supports. Like a maybe she's going to be like a build character, and you just keep building up more things with more and more tokens. And
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm curious. I love it.
that'll be interesting. It's for a different card later, is what Chad is saying. Well, that's kind of exciting. Poor Maria,
Okay.
always working, even in alter ego. It'll make sense in a minute. Alrighty, let's keep going then. Grant an extra use of your supports while on the double. This is a 0-cost event, Maria Hill. Ready any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. So
Okay.
you get your resource generators back, you get your med teams back, you get your surveillance team back, or something that I don't think we have explicitly said. The shield archetype in Justice exhausts a lot of your supports, right? Like global
Yeah.
logistics, homeland intervention. These cards cause you to exhaust, and therefore you do not get to use the benefit for those supports. And a lot of times, the benefit that you're getting for exhausting the support is better than just the support itself. But the fact
Yeah.
that we have it on the double and we can ready 3 cards, that's
I
6
feel
damage.
like, yeah, I feel like she's got to have multiple copies of this. I've not been looking at the numbers yet, but this is answering my concerns about the tempo because I was worrying about getting so many counters, can only spend so many on one turn, but now this is letting me like basically spend not double depending on how many I've got out, but double on like you say, 2 to 3 of them. I think that's really good.
Yeah. And the what I'm looking at is or what where my mind is going right now on the double with just 3 tack teams out. You do 6 damage on the double, ready them all up, 6 more damage. That's 12 damage for the build of putting the supports onto the table, but we
I'm
can
yeah.
blitz pretty quickly, it feels like.
I'm also wondering about command teams. Multiple command teams out, and just
Yeah.
one ally going crazy.
Yes. 1,000% yes. Give me more of that.
Yeah. What's next? I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So, her and Monica Chang, Dave says, will keep threat everywhere to 0 all the time. Yeah. And what I like about the flexibility here. Sorry, I know I said I would go on, but my mind is going in all different branching directions. Is it feels like because of her ability to bring multi-aspect cards to the table and put those shield supports where we need to and get the right ones, she can be a great multiplayer hero and a great solo hero, depending on what we need. I think a med team build, this may be that support healing that I'm looking for, right? To just kind of heal
Yeah.
everybody at the table.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah. Okay. I promise we will move on now.
Let's do it.
On the double, so you use them more times in a single turn. She also comes with some special funding to help pay for more expensive supports. Villain, what is this one?
This is a resource card, which is what I was hoping for when I did the money thing in the camera. I see a mental and a physical, kind of interesting. I think that's a little bit different to what Magneto was revealed to have recently. Response: after you spend this card to pay for a shield support, place one all-purpose counter on that support after it enters play. So this is kind of the Monica Chang thing. When she brings in the surveillance team, it gets an extra counter. And you spend this on a support, brings in an extra counter on that as well. So even more counter generation sounds really, really good.
Yep. And place one all-purpose counter on that support after it enters play. Okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, now all your med teams, tac teams, surveillance teams are entering play with 4 counters.
Yeah.
That's
And I just I
cool.
just I just did some nerdy stuff. It looks like 2 copies of On the Double, so that's pretty fun. To
Okay.
have you spend more of the counters here. So,
Nice.
yeah, really like that.
Okay, so we got chat saying that we're gonna really enjoy these next couple of cards, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, I mean, having doubles in your kit, if we have two of these, potentially three, I'm not 100% sure what we're gonna see with special funding, but doubles in a kit is always good, especially because I do think if we are running this shield support, it's gonna be a fairly high cost kit.
Yeah. I
So
see that. And I think maybe low tempo to begin with because you put one shield out there. You got to build up momentum. That's what it feels like. But I want to see these next cards because I can say I've scrolled down slightly enough to see the cost of these, and we need to
yeah,
talk.
I just did the same thing. I just see a lot of big numbers, um, which getting the extra you start out with, which is especially relevant with what comes next. As the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Maria has access to the agency's entire arsenal, and with that comes access to its fleet of unique helicarriers.
Exciting.
That's exciting. So we have the Iliad. This is like 6 cost support. Villain, what is this doing?
This is being expensive.
Yeah,
Shield traded. This is obviously going to be very useful. Vehicle, obviously, I love. I just want to say, I love the idea of having your own fleet under your command. That feels so amazing. I
yeah.
almost feel like a pirate with like a pirate armada. I don't know where the ideas come from, but that's what I feel like. I'm not going to be a good shield director. Um, but this is free uses, free mission counters. So another support we can move stuff around onto. Exhaust it and remove one mission counter. What? Deal?
Right?
What?
Right?
You can get this turn one because she can choose a shield support, right? Like this is
Yeah.
guaranteed turn one unless Ultron steals it or something. No way. I'm scrolling up. Hold on. Sorry, guys. You can search your deck for a shield support. Okay. Okay. And then it will just have 15 damage preloaded on it that you can keep readying up and putting stuff on. Remove 4 threat from a scheme. Also huge. Heal 3 damage from an identity. Here's your healing support character. You called it. What is going on with this?
This seems
I'm
very good.
This seems kind of okay. If you play this turn one and you get caught off guard as your first encounter card, you're going to cry so many tears. Um, this is good. I need to look at chat. I don't have chat in a good place. That's crazy. What do you think, Nelson?
I think it's amazing. And I do want to talk about the cost of this card because what you're saying, playing it on turn one, do you need a double? No, you do not, because you get to search your deck for a shield support to put into your hand, making your effective first hand size 7. This effective card cost is 7, meaning that you can play it even if you do not have the double. If you have your resource, you get to add another counter to this. You are looking at 20 damage from your first. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, that's
The temp-
insane.
that
And
is
you can just
crazy.
keep
Like,
loading them up with her hero ability. Just funnel the counters to the, and then ready
yeah.
them. Agent 13 can ready
Agent
this.
13 just came to my head as well the second you said that. So the command team readying
Oh,
those up to ready her up, to ready Iliad up. This is going to be disgusting, but also really fun. But like that is an insane combo that you can do in any aspect because she's basic, not in a rude way. And command team, you can take it from other aspects with her alter ego. So you can do command team Agent 13. Maybe this is being a little bit greedy, a little bit, high ceiling, but Iliad, remove full threat like in solo play. This is still a whole turn, but that could remove like a side scheme that the villain starts with or something, and that 5 damage will defeat most minions, and you can pop a tough with Maria Hill's activation. Like you will still deal with some of the setup stuff a villain might throw at you in expert mode while setting up a 6 cost support. That
yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Any of the horrendous side schemes that start on the table where, thinking like the Immortal Claw or Defense Network, you can just clear those in true solo because it's not something that's hitting the table and not having immediate impact as well, right? You can take out a big minion with the 5 damage. Oh my gosh, that's
You can use it
insane.
from alter ego is what I'm really now starting to focus on as well, which is really flexible. Like
Ooh.
that's
Ooh. I
the
and I like this now with the weekly challenge that we got a couple weeks ago. The alter ego only build. I think Maria's gonna be pretty decent at that alter ego only build.
Do you think Maria practices meditation?
Oh, 1,000% I am. Oh my gosh. A meditation bringing oh my
Because that's
gosh.
good for the supports she can grab from, on other turns as well, which
True.
costs free. So,
True.
uh,
Oh, that's good. That's an excellent point. Yes.
hmm,
Is
I
our
need to
special
see.
funding is not
uh,
limited to hero either, so we can use special funding in alter ego.
And on the double, I think she could have a lot of alter ego flexibility here. It's looking like reinforcements. Yeah, these are all actions. Support staff is not hero locked. So interesting. So excited to play her.
And I think I mean, like when we first started the stream, we were talking about the alter ego side of Maria, and only having 3 recovery with 9 health and 2 defense. It's a fairly squishy hero. With the Iliad, you can heal 3 damage without exhausting your hero, which I think is just very, very much shores up that squishability concern.
Yeah, I want to deal 5 damage. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm firing my cannons. The healing is good to have, and it's so flexible. You can hit anyone with it. As an action, off turn, a multiplayer. Like there's so much going on here. I
I
love it.
do want to point out real quick that it is 3 damage from an identity, so it cannot be an ally. It does need to
Yeah,
be a hero, but still very, very, very solid.
yeah, love it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That's cool. No build support, but that's fine. I'm here for it.
I'm
Oh,
getting like a little bit of Cyclops in this design, except Cyclops has a Professor X, which goes extra like just bananas. Like that's what the Iliad is to me. The special kind of ally, but it's a support now. It's just so interesting. I want to see
yeah.
this other 6 cost card.
There's another 6 class card.
Oh,
The
it's on the screen in front of me.
Cersei. Am I pronouncing that correctly? The Cersei?
I'm gonna say yes because I don't know, and chat will correct us. But yeah, I think so.
Okay, and then we did get a confirmation from FFG per the chat that you do have to take the max number of copies when building.
Okay, so it does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a 6 cost support. This is leadership, so it's not. This
Ooh.
is anybody can take this. So that's kind of. It only comes in with 2 counters, which makes I haven't read the card, but I'm trying to fathom what this could be to make me pay 6 to only use it twice. And as an action, we can exhaust the support, remove 1 deploy counter, choose a player. That player puts an ally into play from their hand. Sick.
That's
Sick.
incredibly good. Now it is very like expensive, but that could be Nick Fury, and
Yeah.
the next time that could be Nick Fury for somebody else.
Right. Right.
um,
Cersei pronunciation is correct. Cool. Okay. Yeah. That's
wow.
interesting. That's really interesting. If you
So,
use her double to pay for it, you're getting 3 deploy counters. If you're using her ability, you can just load this up and you can play an ally for free every single round. This is
so
also not locked to hero. Ooh,
do you
sick.
turn one go for this, or do you turn one go for the Iliad?
I think true solo I go for the Iliad.
What if you have Nick Fury in hand and you get a free Nick Fury?
Well, if you have a Nick Fury in hand and you don't have a double, you're using Nick
Oh,
Fury to
true,
pay for
true,
this.
true, true.
So, like, I think if
Uh,
you go for
mhm,
turn one, the Cersei, you have to have an ally to put into play, or the Iliad is going to
yeah,
be a better option because it has immediate impact on the game.
yeah. But I
That's
am. I feel.
so cool.
I can still see that being a choice though, depending on your hand and what you have, which is giving you a little bit of cable choosing that first side scheme, which is really, really fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, I'm also trying to think, are there any, like, this is put into play, so it is not played. So anything
Mm.
that triggers off of being played is not going to get played, but also you can go off um trade it here, right? Like you can put Gamora into play as Maria Hill.
Yeah.
That seems kind of fun.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, Agent 13.
Mm.
You can throw.
That's
We're seeing chat say Agent 13. Ready it up and do it again.
What if you had 2 resource cards in hand and then, like, Agent 13 and you grab this? You could do I feel like there's some weird lucky hands where things go a little bit crazy, especially if it's an action. So what if somebody else plays Agent 13 and then starts to ready this up for you? Like, uh,
Ooh.
I don't know. I think there's a high ceiling on this card, and I love that we're seeing 6 cost cards. We saw a little bit of that with Deadpool. I'm definitely seeing Tony Fanchi, lead designer, as hand on this, and I'm here for it. I think it's great.
So, spoiler alert for the first half of the episode that we are in the middle of recording for Shadow of the Cast. We're talking about Captain Marvel, right? So, let's
Hmm.
talk a little bit about how this card specifically, the Iliad, is locked to Maria, but this card specifically can be used by any character in the game. Any thoughts
She
on where else we may want to use it? My thought is Captain Marvel. We
Captain
have the
Marvel.
triples,
Yeah.
and it gets so much easier to play.
Yeah, I feel like someone like Hawkeye's gonna struggle with this. Spider Woman can get shield cards from different aspects. So that could be really
Ooh.
interesting. And she has a forecast. No, I don't. Does the Captain Marvel signature ally? It's Avenger. Does she have shield or aerial or neither? I will research. But
Then,
that's
yeah.
hmm,
Hmm. You can also use government liaison, team building exercise, because it does have that shield trait. There's a lot of
yeah.
ways to reduce this cost.
Just
It's
have
going to be,
leadership.
yeah, power of leadership works on it. There, I'm a huge fan of this card. I think that it's appropriately costed. We have chat saying that, I if it was any less, it would be a little bonkers, and I agree. So I'm really
Yeah.
happy with the cost. I like that we're moving into this design space, right? This feels like a
Yeah.
build around card. There are going to be um heroes that will never play this. There are going to be heroes that will want to build around this, and those are the type of cards that I want in the game.
Yeah, I love it. I can confirm the Captain Marvel signature ally does not work for this from Spider Woman, but nonetheless, really cool. I mean, hold up,
What do you
Dum
mean?
Dum Dugan. Spider Woman's signature ally does not have the shield trait.
You don't
Is
need
what
the
I was
shield
picking up.
trait.
No. Oh, you don't need. Why might I think about
No,
that?
you can put
Um,
any
but
ally into play.
that's. I don't know why I was locked on that. I just had like maybe a lot of shield interaction going on through my head. Still really good then, incredibly good. Inc- and this just gets crazier and crazier. That's why I went to like Nick Fury first, and this gets like super, super, super crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think,
Ooh,
something there's gonna be a really fun Adam Warlock build here with just the
yeah.
highest cost allies you can find. Oh my gosh.
That's got so much potential. That's just maybe does Maria Hill play Hercules?
Oh my goodness. No.
That's such a weird crossover.
But okay, hold on. What if we go with using this to play those high cost cards and then revisiting our War Machine pack with Go Down Swinging and stuff like that, where you're getting benefits where you can toss the ally, deal like 6 damage after you've used Hercules.
Yeah. This card is very fun. I'm loving this. I like that combo. Who are the other most expensive allies in the game? We've got Dum Dum Dugan's very expensive. The Captain Marvel
Heimdall.
leadership ally put into play. I can't remember what's from
I
hand or
think
not,
she's
but
played. I
Heimdall.
think, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. She is definitely because yeah, rapid response works with her. I know from experience. That's so good.
Heimdall, the 5 cost Captain Marvel ally. Play them, put them out with this, bring them back. Yeah, it's gonna be insane. I'm so
It's
pumped.
Here's a crazy take. They could have just put these 2 cards in the article. That could be the entire article. That would be like almost sufficient. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I'm thinking of a deck with this and the discard ally cards and someone that can play Psychic Kicker. Interesting. That's
Mm.
cool. Okay. Okay. It's hard to add high cost allies still without this card. They're unplayable. That's fair. Okay, so that is the Cersei. That is the Cersei. We have more cards, and that's even more exciting. And okay, It is any player. I think we kind of glossed over that. You can choose any player. In True Solo, you're
Mm,
choosing yourself, but you can choose, if we're playing together, I can choose you and you can put in an ally for free. I think that's going to
yeah.
open up some really interesting synergies at the table.
Yeah, I think I talked about that a bit at first, but there's so much to talk about. But anyone can take Nick Fury in a deck, and then you can just make whoever has it in hand play like the super high value ally. There's like just pure efficiency. There's probably going to be this gets around trait lock stuff, right? So your aggression player seems to put the ally into play from their hand, even if they can't normally play that character, right? So you can make the call for other people in a way. Is that what I'm getting here?
I think so.
That's good. This card is possibilities. Many of them.
Yeah. And it is a unique card, meaning you can only have one of them in your deck. And so if you go non-leadership with your Maria build, you can choose this as one of your cards and you are able to add this and you would only add one to your deck. But I still think that
Yeah.
is probably, unless we get some more cards that are in the realm of this power level, I think this is going to be in every single Maria Hill deck I build.
This is giving me Cable again in terms of that when we saw the side schemes he came with, I was like, they're never going to top this. Nothing's going to come close. And then like specialized training happened and a couple of other things. I'm like, wow, they're really giving me options here for like crazy good stuff. Where does the crazy stop? I have glanced ahead. I read like 4 words in one of the sentences ahead, and you're going to be excited. We have more good stuff, it looks like.
Yeah, no, I just read the leadership helicarrier and then the protection helicarrier, which only makes me think that we're getting a helicarrier for each one of the aspects.
What I read is aspect cards in her deck include 4 additional helicarriers. So why don't we move on?
Yeah. Okay, the Pericles.
Pericles, I
I'm gonna
think.
I'm gonna read this one because it's the protection card. Sorry, I think
Yep.
I read the other one, but I oh my gosh, look at the art. This art looks so cool. I love the moon in the background. This is another 6 cost support. 2 supply counters again. Exhaust the Pericles, remove 1 supply counter from it. Give your hero or villain a status card of your choice. Give an ally or minion a status card of your choice. That's pretty cool.
Whoa. Am I just spending every turn on Maria playing these huge 6 cost supports? That's
I think so.
crazy. So you can basically get a tough, or you can just keep confusing or stunning the villain. And your ally is also getting it. So it's 2 status cards every counter. This is kind of special. 6 cost is really steep, but on your first turn using it, you're getting 2 status cards, ideally with the ally out, right? And it's an ally, so it could be someone else's ally or a
Yeah.
different hero that you give the status card to. Colossus?
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, and so I like the flexibility that you can go protective or aggressive here, stunning or confusing. My initial thought was, do you just grab this one as your turn one? You confuse the villain so that you can then play the Iliad later. I think the problem with that is that at that point you don't probably have a hero, or unless you're playing multiplayer, a hero or an ally to use the other half of this card. Um, that's pretty cool.
My other thought for this card, and probably all the other ones we're going to look at here, is the bishop is going to have the money to do this, right?
Yeah, yeah. Bishop
Um,
will enjoy that a lot.
yeah, crazy. Do we get to see the other ones? I hope so. I'm not sure if they have all of them. It feels like a lot of cards to show, but like this, if this is the example, the other ones have to be really good and really fun as well. Surely.
Yeah, I think my initial reaction is I like the leadership one a little bit more. Um, I think they're
Um,
both very good. I think the
yeah.
leadership one is more fun.
I think the leadership one is probably going to be better with the right build, especially in multiplayer. If you can always have that expensive, like really strong ally, like like it's not recursion, but allies for cheap, effectively, is what you're going to build up with that on like Maria Hill, who adds the counters on. Not adding the counters on, I think okay, maybe like in Bishop, this isn't going to be as strong, and I need to tone down my excitement a little bit, unless we have an aspect way to move counters around.
Clash in the comment says you never want to team up with Spider Ham. Green Goblin's just going to take away all the counters.
Oh no, yeah, that's true. That's funny.
Oh, geez. Okay, I'm a big fan of this, which can flexibly distribute status cards to enemies and allies alike. Helicarriers are central to Maria Hill's game plan and the primary targets for her abilities that can redistribute or add all-purpose counters. Yeah, everything
Oh
that we
yeah.
said at the beginning of the video, where it's like, oh, we're gonna get an extra use out of Med Team. No, ignore that. You're moving Med Team over to the Cersei at this point. Like, I
Oh
mean, these
yeah.
are just way stronger. So, or the
Yeah.
Iliad. Gosh, Dude, this is gonna be so cool. This feels like yeah, this just feels like a souped up support version of Iron Man. Or probably Spider, more likely, right? Like you have like all of your toys and it's just like a it's just gonna be a fun puzzle to figure out.
It's giving me kind of like the troop commander thing, where you're like directing your allies, but you're directing these supports, and they have such dynamic, impactful effects, which is yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. And if the going gets tough, Hill can make it the hard call to sacrifice one of these carriers for some heavy damage. So the hard call is a 2-cost event. Discard a shield support, deal X damage to each enemy, where X is the printed cost of the discarded support.
This is what Go Down Swinging kind of wishes it could be, because we have good 6-cost targets, and it hits yeah, each enemy. Imagine like 4 horsemen or something.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, multiplayer. This
Yep.
is wow. I mean, it's locked to Maria Hill. I almost thought it was a basic card again because we moved on and it's grey. They're tricking me, but
It is
yeah,
kind of interesting how they've layered the aspect cards with the hero cards in this article. But
yeah,
yeah,
I
it's a
like it
Maria
though.
Hill card. It's a Maria Hill card.
Wow.
This is an expensive card. Right? Because it's at the effective cost of 3. If you discard the Cersei, you're discarding a 6-cost card. You're dealing 6 damage to everything, but you're also losing an out on an ally play. If you're discarding the protection one, you're losing out on probably 2 villain activation blocks with the tough and
Yeah,
so
it's
I think it's very situationally good,
hmm.
but it's not
Uh,
something I'm playing every single time I pass it.
I think it might depend, because if you're about to deck out and you got a couple of counters left, maybe if you're a multiplayer, you just
Mm,
destroy the whole board, and then you go Rodrigo next turn, it's back in your deck, you just grab that support back. You can do like, you can use this to time certain things if you want to. I think because you do have to keep a counter left on something, losing that is going to be sad. You're going to be losing one counter when use of these things, which is okay. It's lowering slightly in my initial excitement. But just hitting everything, like multiplayer, this is really good. And this is going to be a finisher as well. Like giving the
mhm,
villain a confused status card isn't going to matter on the last turn with like the
sure.
Pericles. Uh, but dropping the Pericles onto Ronan's head or something is going to feel pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 100%. And yeah, I this is an event.
Mm,
Um it's not an attack though. So
no.
I was thinking Hall of Heroes. I was like, there you go,
It
have fun.
it
But I don't think
bypasses guard though and
it
stun.
does. Oh, okay. Yep. Yep. That okay. That's really interesting. We have chat asking, and I want to talk about this real quick. Isn't she super broken? We can stay in alter ego the first 4 turns and get out all 4 of our helicarriers.
It looks pretty good. I do think there's going to be. I mean, I don't know. Starting with the Iliad lets you deal with like side schemes and enemies from Alter Ego pretty well. She does look very, very strong to me. Like when I've been mentioning Cyclops, Cable, these are not weak characters by any means. um,
Pretty good, honestly. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say it.
I would have to play it, but my impression is it's gonna be really funny if Maria Hill is stronger than like some of these like really strong heroes we have in the game, like canonically in the comics. But I guess she is. You're not just playing Maria Hill; you're playing the full force of Shield kind of thing here.
Yeah,
It's my
yeah.
my justification. But yeah, she looks really good.
She looks very good. I think the hard call is appropriately named. It is going
Mm.
to be a very hard card to play
I love the
unless you're
dark.
set up.
Uh,
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I was gonna say I love the dark thematics of it as well. Like she's struggling to make this choice. She's sacrificing her helicarrier for the people, and the flavor text represents that.
Yep.
That's
Sometimes it just comes down to the numbers. More people die if I don't act than if I do. Ugh, yikes.
yeah,
But
that's
I
heavy.
do like what you were saying. Sacrifice something right before you shuffle your deck. Flip down the alter ego, grab it, and play it immediately again.
Mm. I'm so excited to play her.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
excited.
Then you have Sky Destroyer, which you can just deal more damage. Wee.
I don't know if I'm thinking about Sky Destroyer when I've got the Iliad, but I mean, you're going to trigger every turn, so why not? But
Right.
she's got so many of these, 4 of these things at Pericles level. I mean, I have to see it in
5.
practice.
I
I'm
think
worried I'm getting
5,
too
right?
excited.
Because of her
Well,
signature one too.
yeah, yeah. I was, yeah, it's good stuff, and I think there's even more stuff to reveal, which I'm I'm loving this. This is am a little bit worried the power might be too high for me to play like in every scenario without feeling too good, but at the same time, it's gonna be fun. Parasite, it looks fun. The multiplayer, people are gonna love you if you play Maria Hill at the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Chat. We freed Tony and boy did he go off.
Tony's like, Caleb, he's not here. I'm gonna six cast and then all the things. It is good, like fun. I think that is more important than if it's
Yeah.
balanced. So though maybe balance is good, but this looks fun, and I haven't played it yet, so I don't want to say too much.
Yeah. Alrighty, I've been reading some cards, so why don't you read out what Victoria Hand is? This is our leadership ally.
I do not know who she is. I will say straight up, she is a free cost ally with a gun that is far too big for her, but maybe that's just going to be fun. One attack for a card with a huge weapon is interesting. 2 fort shield, obviously. um, oh, look what she does, guys! No, no. She readies a shield support. That's the tempo I'm looking for coming out again here. And you can it's enters play not from hand, so you can get her in with the Cersei if you want to, or make the call or rapid response, and she's going to get to ready up the Iliad or the Pericles or whatever else she might be in Maria Hill's deck. I like this card. I don't know why the weapon is about the size of Hulk's biceps, but she's got one attack. you know, but I like this ally. What are your thoughts on this?
I think this is really interesting. I think at the very very base level, if you have a Sky Destroyer out that's already exhausted, her coming into play is 2 more damage because you can ready the Sky Destroyer, respond to her entering play because you're still within that response chain and hit 2 more damage,
Mm.
and then 2 thwart. So at that very 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 basic level, which is probably the very minuscule amount of times that you're going to be choosing a Sky Destroyer to ready, it's still a fairly decent value.
Yeah, I will say I kind of had this in mind with like Maria Hill. I think outside of Maria Hill, readying a shield support is gonna like help with some tempo and things. I mean, I guess other people can play things like the Cersei and Pericles, so I have to see how it goes. But it could be slightly underwhelming outside of Maria Hill as maybe a thought. But there is that like the combos we're talking about here. I even forgot that heli carrier because we got all these new heli carriers. You can still play
Yeah.
heli carrier and get a resource off it at a very basic level. So in that regard, 2 4. I mean, it's interesting. I like it.
I think also another spot we could see Victoria being played is in Voltron decks with command teams. So if you have like a Iron Man with 900 upgrades on him and he's swinging for 10 damage and removing 2 thwart, you play Victoria, you ready a command team, and you get to do that again with Iron Man. So even outside of a shield build, there are still spots for Victoria in other archetypes as well.
Yeah, that's very important. And yeah, I like her flavor text too. We're getting a lot of flavor text in these cards, which is always a plus. She says, I better get hazard pay for this.
That's amazing.
That's how all allies should feel when they're about to chump block, Ronan with the universal weapon. They really better be getting something out of it. Um, I want to read the next card.
Yeah, okay, okay. So the next card is organizational support. What does it do?
The art reminds me of Global Logistics, one of my favorite Justice
does.
cards, and
Yeah.
that's what excited me. So it's a resource with an interrupt. When you spend this card, exhaust up to 3 allies. Okay, the Global Logistics thing is coming through. Allies or supports which you control that share a trait with your identity. It's a little bit different to like Global Logistics and Homeland. You couldn't use your identity for this, which I believe you can with those. I think it's characters. But so you spend this. It's a mental resource. You exhaust 3 allies and or supports that share a trait with your identity. Generate the printed resources that each got exhausted this way. Okay,
This
so
is
you
a
can
quadruple resource.
quadruple resource in leadership. Admittedly, you're going to need. Oh wait, yeah, share trait with your identity, so it's not shield locked. I didn't even clock that initially.
It's mutant.
Um,
Right? This with Uncanny X-Men is stupid.
Uncanny X-Men doesn't need it because everything's already 1 cost or 2 costs. This I'm gonna have to go into the workshop and think about it, but I feel like this could be very good.
I think this card, yeah,
this is
Leroy is saying this card is insane.
this is giving strength in numbers energy.
This is giving strength and numbers energy. And what I want to think about here, they do not need to be cards that require exhausting. You can exhaust the Triskelion, which is a shield card,
Yeah.
and this is a double if you
So if you
exhaust the
put
Triskelion. And Triskelion doesn't need to not be exhausted, right? So there are That's interesting.
Now, Nelson, I need to talk to you. You can. It doesn't say max any, so you can have 3 copies of this. As long as you have Triskelion out, you've now got 3 more doubles that you can spend on,
Yeah.
hero cards, anything. Okay,
Yeah. I
so
th- yeah.
the game power level might be, on average, maybe moving slightly up here is what I've noticed.
Yeah. We have a question. Isn't this a win more card? Not necessarily. I don't think necessarily because I don't think you need to max this out for it to be a good card, right? I don't think that you
He's not.
need to be using like a band together strategy. I think band together is a little bit more win more than organizational support. This already has one resource on it, and then this can generate all 4 resources if you want. So like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
This is. I see what I like spaced out these articles as well now because this is like just so much already. This is incredible. Like the power is interesting. Like the win more is an interesting topic, but like you say, it's already one resource. I think you only need like Triskelion down, and it's gonna be an extra double resource whenever it's in your hand. If you had multiple, okay, it's gonna stack up. But getting 2 resources out of this for something that doesn't have to exhaust, very very good, very
2D
very good.
2D board gamers Jubilee could really like this card. I like that a lot because it does generate the
Oh
printed resource on the card exhausted. So you can pay for multiple
yeah,
different types of cards with
I'm
organizational support.
I'm still getting locked onto the shield thing, but it's any trait. So
It's
there's
any
got to be
trait.
some good things in other things, like Mighty Avengers for Avenger characters. You can exhaust that. That's no problem. There's going to be a bunch out there that I need to look at. But this,
Yeah.
I'm
Warrior of
glad
the
I read
Great
it now.
Web. Warrior of the
So
Great Web will be interesting. There's a lot of supports out there that have traits that you can share your hero with that do not need to be exhausted to carry out their ability, making this just an on-call double.
yeah, I bet there's some weird trait stuff that's not used very much. Like I don't think there's a Wakanda support, or maybe Golden City does, but you would never exhaust that. But like I wonder if there's something weird out there like that this will bring use to. Um,
I could see if you're not flipping down to alter ego, right?
True.
Any of your supports that are require you to be an alter ego, now they have a use outside of alter ego. That's really cool. I think this card is not bad.
Acceptable, satisfactory,
We'll
better
see.
than
We'll see if
tenacity.
it makes it. Jefferson Davis is useful. Yeah, shield there. Nice.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
double if you exhaust one card.
Well,
And what I do like about it over Band Together is that it has that printed mental resource on it, so it's not a dead
yeah.
card if you don't have anything.
One note about Jefferson is Miles does not have the shield trait.
Hmm. An honorary shield.
Honorary shield might be a thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. There. My mind is gonna go insane with this. We will come back to it. Probably at some point. Do
Yeah.
Black Panther? No, this is exhaust 3 allies and supports. Never mind. I was gonna say do the Black Panther upgrades, but no, those are upgrades, not supports. Danger Room and Hero Form. Yeah, any of the X-Men supports that trigger in alter ego. If you don't need it, ooh,
Yeah. This
that's
is
that's
the
sick.
ceiling is high.
The ceiling is very high and the floor is not that low.
I agree.
Very cool.
Beast.
Okay,
Oh. Oh.
what
Anyway,
what
Beast can grab this. The ally. I just had a thought. We can move on.
that'll be cool. To exhaust Victoria and that shield support to generate loads of extra resources for your next big card play, such as one of the helicarriers described above. Grant Ward. Grant Ward is a basic card, 0 cost ally. Cool.
What?
2/2/3. I love this text. Grant Ward cannot defend. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Tony is always coming up with interesting and unique ways to de-incentivize chump blocking. And I think that you cannot defend is one of those. I think that that's fine. I think that that's cool. It makes it really interesting for the stat line. I have not read the response, but after you
I
reveal
have.
after you reveal a treachery, this is forced. You have to. You may spend a mental resource. If you do not, take damage equal to Grant Ward's attack and remove him from the game. Interesting.
I've got to say I had a hot take. I read this a few seconds before you read it out. If I'm reading this correctly, this card, like whether you like Tears or Power or not, like to me, this is like S tier because you play it, you get 2 forwarding for a 0 cost card or 2 attack for a 0 cost card. And worst case is you lose them next time. That's still really good value. And if you get lucky with the right encounter card, you get another 2 forwarding or 2 attack. Like, am I missing something here? It's a 0 cost card that is a minimum 2 forwarding or 2 attack, and is maximum 6 forwarding, 6 attack before spending any mentals.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything? Oh, you take damage and remove him. Yeah, but like,
Yeah, it's 2 damage though. And
yeah,
you have to
that's not
reveal
bad
a
at all.
treachery, which like so if you're revealing side schemes, minions, or anything like that, it's not going to trigger.
I'm not super worried about that. You could just spend the mental resource. Like, it's not. I think this
Oh
ally looks good.
yeah, Grant was the trader who was the secret Hydra agent. Okay, that makes a lot of sense thematically. And
Thematically, this
winning,
is really cool.
yeah, winning. This isn't disincentivizing it. It's just yeah, very very true. Yes. Um, Tony has done things that have de-incentivized chump blocking, and this is not de-incentivizing it, but it is making it so that allies have a wider design space that they can explore.
Yeah.
Uh, good for brute heroes. No low thwart. Hulk. I think Hulk's gonna like this. It's a physical resource. Um, if you have, I mean, like it may be hard to pay that mental resource, but worst case scenario, he comes and he thwarts for 2 for a 0 cost card, and he takes 2 damage out of Hulk's like 23 if he has all his upgrades out. Okay.
Yeah, I need to figure out what the timing is. Maybe chat knows, but if a treachery comes up and I cancel it or I skip it with something, um, like some kind of effect like that, does that work? Because that could be a really good combo.
I would think so.
Because you can still reveal a card without when revealed effects happening, and a lot of cancels are when revealed effects. But some
Yeah.
cards I think say, I don't know. I have to check some of the wording, but I'm curious about that. But I think this looks like a really good card.
Yeah,
The 2
living
damage is fine.
forced, but this is a forced response.
Hmm.
So does
Oh,
the after you reveal a treachery, if you cancel the revelation of the treachery, does this forced response still trigger?
I think interrupts can go before force response. So I might need to
Yeah.
double check because force jumps ahead of stuff. But I feel like interrupt goes before force response goes before response. But something to think on. I think this is a really good card.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it's a 2 thwart. You take 2 damage. You're trading 2 thwart for 2 damage. There are a lot of heroes in this game who will take that every single time.
Yeah, and a card. It will cost you like a potential resource as well.
Sure.
But I
Sure.
still think characters will take this. I think the Hulk shout was really good.
I think I like Hulk. I like honestly, yeah. That's interesting. I like the design space too. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, agreed.
Hmm.
Really cool design, like really thematic, like Parasite. Like the theme is really, really cool. Like this is such a creative force response. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, we have one more card. You have to keep an eye on him, or else he may betray you at an inopportune moment.
Dun, dun, dun.
Finally, once you have gotten all of your powerful shield supports set up, you can establish a front organization to protect your assets from nasty treacheries and keep your operation running.
Is
Villain,
this?
will you read us our last card here?
I hope this is what enables Grant Ward to dodge treacheries. So 0 cost support. It's got a truck on it, which if you've seen under surveillance, you know is a very good sign for a card. Play under any player's control,
Hmm.
max 1 per player. So this is really interesting. It's an interrupt. When an encounter card effect would discard a card you control, discard front organization instead of discarding that card. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. This protects you from caught off guard, but the standard 2 version targets the most expensive thing. And this is a support you can play down and it'll sit there and block that. So on higher difficulties and certain other scenarios which have similar effects. That's interesting.
It is interesting. I think it's funny because a cut off guard, you're not actually triggering the interrupt here. You're just going to discard this. Uh,
That's really funny as well.
so there is that, but like it does protect those high cost helicarriers, the 6 cost helicarriers that we're seeing. Front organization, anything that will target that. I'm wondering if this is giving us a little bit of a tease into what Maria's nemesis set is going to be. Are we going to see things that are
Mm,
going to be attacking those helicarriers, and front organization is going to be something that's going to protect her from her nemesis set? Because
yeah.
outside of standard 2 or standard 3 or yeah, no, standard 2, I don't know if I'm running this card that
I
much.
think this gains value maybe in multiplayer, And if you've got some specific stuff to defend, someone else can play this out. Like someone who wants to build up might not want to put this in because it'll slow down like the tempo of future hands. I don't know. There's considerations with it. But certain decks of certain characters, I think this is interesting. I'm curious what it means by encounter card effect. Does like if I reveal a nemesis card, like that's a encounter card effect, right? And some of those make you discard. Like certain characters might want to protect themselves from nemesis effects.
I
Uh,
also think that this would affect Grant, right? So
yeah,
I think it would protect Grant here. It does. I think. Um, yeah, I think it is a card you control, so you cannot protect somebody else's card with this.
hmm
Um,
but you can
so
play it onto somebody else.
sure, sure. You're rolling the dice at that point. Make sure that they're drawing the caught off guard or whatever. It
Maybe not
protects
with.
upgrades and allies. Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe not with global logistics.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Okay. That's cool. That's really cool. This would also work with Nick Fury. I don't know if it would because it says when an encounter card effect would, and Nick Fury is a player card, so I
Right.
don't think that will lines up um, as nicely as I would want it to.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting. I wonder if we're going to see some more things. Maybe in the shield box. This is the shield box is going to really kind of target some of
True.
our upgrades and supports, or just cards on the table. Uh,
This
what's up?
this is funnily enough will stop Thanos. I think from the Reality Stone. You know, the your front as a shield organization can stop the Reality Stone. Is what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I
That
mean,
encounter
like
card, I
I can
think. Sorry, go on.
this is if you are running skilled investigator as a caught off guard target, this is just a more flexible version of that. Skilled investigator gets the ability to draw the card, right? But
Mm.
front organization, I think, will make it into some of those build out decks just to protect cards.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this might be more of a tech card against certain scenarios or standard two, like we kind of covered.
Sure.
But it's interesting. I don't hate it. I like that it's a tool that we have in the game.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so protect your allies. With her heavy focus on shield supports and her ability to flexibly wield them to maximum effect, Maria is a unique hero. Yeah, that
Uh
offers
huh.
a new approach to Marvel Champions gameplay. Keep an eye for a preview of her counterpart, Nick Fury, in the coming weeks. Look forward to the release of Agent Shield in February of 2025.
Wow.
Awesome, awesome article. What
Yeah.
just kind of final reactions. What are you most looking forward to here? What's the most exciting thing for you?
I'm going to form a fleet of devastating heli carriers led by the Iliad, and we will rain destruction upon our foes. And it looks crazy. I think the whole style suits me because I don't know if you remember when we talked about Shield. I think previously a little bit on some things. Like I really like things that move things about, and she's moving all these counters about. Like it's really tactical, and that's just chef's kiss, perfect for me.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm excited for Maria and her play style. I'm excited for the aspect cards that we have seen here, and the play styles that they open up. I'm assuming that we're gonna get two more, a justice and an aggression, maybe a basic, but I'm thinking just a justice. Ooh, I don't like that sentence. And an aggression 6 cost helicarrier.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to like in this pack. I think that, I saw someone say it earlier that or like, people were saying, they really need to make, these heroes really exciting because of, um, some people are not, super driving with the shield theme. I think they nailed it. I think that this is exciting mechanics.
Yeah, the people who are like, Shield's not that interesting. You haven't seen Maria Hill. The comment we got earlier that if you don't like this, you're stunned and confused, I think is going to be maybe a little bit accurate.
Yeah. The worst part about this hero is that you cannot play the Maria Hill ally.
The worst part for me is I got to wait till February.
Oh no. Yeah. True. True. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh,
Good
and good
stuff.
call. Good call, Roland. Grant does not actually get protected. Um,
Really?
yeah, because he's removed from the game, not discarded. Good
Oh,
call.
that is a great shout. That's really funny that they set those up back to back, but it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Is
that
being
is
removed from the
funny.
game part of being discarded or no? That is really weird, but
Hmm.
that's a good shout. I still think Grant looks really good.
Grant looks really good. I organizational support I think is gonna be bananas in the right builds.
So much good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
I still think like the Cersei is what I'm coming back to. Like Captain Marvel can be one of the absolute best choices for this. And with her card draw, it's gonna always be able to maybe herself find the right ally for it. Like so many combos we could talk about for hours here, but kind of nice.
yeah. Um, yeah, no, this is amazing. I think it was Winning Hand who said, you know, I'm really excited to also revisit the Avengers here with the organizational support. There's just a lot of exciting stuff, but yeah, I mean, like we're gonna go finish recording our podcast now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
But thank you all so very much for hanging out, watching the stream. It was so exciting doing this with you all. I enjoy doing these live. I think it's fun to have the community here and go through this. It's fun to experience these cards for the first time. Jack says that their favorite part is how all but one of her cards works in alter ego. I think it's just going to be such a unique and different play style than what we've seen before in Marvel Champions. I am so pumped to see more Maria cards, but I'm so pumped to see Nick now, because typically I don't know. I'm excited. It's gonna be pumped, but yeah, cool. Yeah, we I guess we'll see we'll see you later. That was insane. I'm so happy with what we got to see here today.
If Nick is anything like this, oh boy.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Villain, your channel is Villain Theory. You're on YouTube as well. When I re-upload, if you're watching this as like the VOD, the replay, you can find his information down below. But yeah, this was amazing. Thank you all so very much for hanging out, and we will see you next time. Peace.
See you guys. Bye.